Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and it is looking more and more likely by the hour that Mikko Rantanen might be getting traded yet again during this season. We heard, of course, like 2 weeks ago about the 9-figure offer, 8 years, around 12.5 or above that he was considering but had not yet signed it. And then this morning, Pierre LeBrun dropped the bomb by saying that Mikko Rantanen's camp are not ready to make a decision by Friday's trade deadline. And as a result, Carolina's talking to teams, seeing what a real return would look like, whether they should keep him as a rental or ship him out. And yeah, at this point, we're like 26 hours away from the deadline. Maybe this video won't even see the day of, well, if you're watching this, it's seeing the day of light, but he might get traded tonight. He might get traded tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon. And we're going to go through some hypothetical trades that you guys sent in over on my Instagram and Beyond Hockey. Feel free to go follow it there. I post a bunch of different stuff, as well as that's how you would get on these videos. That's how you engage. That's how I can hear your thoughts and your hypotheticals, whether it's trades or hot takes. I like to poll you guys on what you're thinking a lot. And yeah, we're going to go through these now. I tried to get one from like basically every safe playoff team roughly, because every single safe playoff team is definitely at least calling on Mikko Rantanen, because even if he hasn't been that good with the Carolina Hurricanes, this guy's still a top 15 for sure, top 20 player in the entire NHL. 6'4", with the way that he moves, the skill that he has, the shot that he has. It would be a great acquisition by any team in terms of rental, or if they want to sign him long term. But yeah, we're going to get into it. And up first, we got the Ottawa Senators from JK910. Josh Norris, Yakimchuk, a first and a third round pick. And when looking at Carolina, although I don't love the Josh Norris contract, he would immediately become their second line center. So I can definitely see that from that aspect. Maybe Ottawa would have to eat like $1 million and a half to get him at like $6 to $7 million, where you can more so swallow it, especially with the injury risk that comes with Josh Norris. But yeah, on top of that, they obviously get a premier prospect in Carter Yakimchuk, a first-round pick, whether it's this year's first or next, because, again, Ottawa has to choose which first-round pick they're giving up for the Dadonov trade. And if you're Ottawa, yeah, you go all in, not just on this season. This would obviously have to come with some kind of extension. In Ottawa's case, some other teams, I think you can swing a rental. Ottawa, you might not even make the playoffs for sure. But yeah, I think that does make sense for both parties, and the value is a little bit fair. Maybe if some money gets eaten on Josh Norris, just because there is some risk there. Next up, Donovan MJ3, Verhaeghe Samoskevich, in a 2027 first-round pick for Mikko Rantanen. This would send people would go crazy over Florida making yet another move. I don't know if you would have to include Samoskevich. I think Verhaeghe in a first-round pick is fair value, if I'm not going to lie, because Verhaeghe is on a very team-friendly deal at around, what is it, like $7.25 million, and is a very, very effective player. So I don't think, although obviously I'd rather have Rantanen, but Rantanen at a 7-8-year deal at $13 million. It is comparable in terms of what they bring bang for their buck. So yeah, I think Verhaeghe in a first round pick, if Florida just wants to really, really go for it, I think that's solid. And if you're Carolina, you move off Rantanen, which stinks, but you get a guy that has term and has shown that he can be a 40-goal scorer at only $7 million. He's getting up there in age. He's like 30 years old. But yeah, you pick up a first-round pick. Actually, maybe you have to include Samoskevich in this. So let's just keep the original deal. Good job, Donovan. I think that's about fair in terms of value, and Florida would become the consensus cup favorite if they picked up Mikko Rantanen. Their top six would be one of the best in like NHL history, salary cap NHL history. Next up, Edmonton from Jesse, RNH, Matthew Savoy in a first-round pick. And when looking at it, this time last year, RNH had one of the best contracts in the entire NHL. He still has like 3 years left at $5.1 million. He's kind of been shit as of right now, but I still think at that cap hit, he is worth it, and if he bounces back, he can be very solid. You can swing him as that second-line center. For Carolina, they also get a first-round pick. They also get Matthew Savoy. This wouldn't be horrible work for Carolina, although I think obviously Rantanen is miles better than RNH. And if you're Edmonton, you're going all in with this. You're probably not able to re-sign Rantanen, given the fact that RNH isn't that much money going out. You still need to re-sign Bouchard, but this wouldn't be the worst possible price just because RNH is getting up there in age. And similarly to Florida, if they did this deal, they would without a doubt be. Their cup odds would go from, I think it's like plus 700 right now. They'd probably be like plus 450, maybe even plus 400. Yeah, the goaltender might let them down, but in terms of offense in the playoffs, they'd be set. Another contender from Jimmy St. Denis Rantanen for Sagan, a 2026 first-round pick in Stan Coven. And yeah, this is an interesting one. Sagan's kind of a negative asset, even though he was playing great this year before playoffs. This would have to be relying on Sagan coming back for the playoffs. I don't think Carolina's making this move. if like they're just decreasing their chance to win this season, because they still care about their chance to win this season. But if Sagan's coming back this season, I could see it work. Yes, he is a negative asset at $9.85 million. Maybe Dallas would have to eat some money on that. But getting Logan Stankoven, one of the brightest young under 23 wingers in the entire NHL, though he's maybe not killing it to the way that we thought he did, especially after the start that he had. He had like 14 points in his first 15 games. But yeah, value-wise, I think that would be pretty decent. If Dallas eats some money on Tyler Seguin, gets him to $8.5 million, he would definitely jump Kakaniemi in terms of that second-line center. You're picking up a very, very good young player. And if you're Dallas, you're going for it. You could maybe find a way to keep... Yeah, you could find a way to keep Rantanen because you're moving out all that Seguin money. You might have to do one more deal on top of that, or you might have to let Jamie Benn or Matt Duchene walk. But yeah, Dallas is in a really good cap situation, especially if they can sign Wyatt Johnson. They might have to bridge Wyatt Johnson if they do this. But it's possible. It's definitely possible in terms of making the salary cap work because they have a lot of their studs on like fantastic deals. Next up, another true contender from Malachi Tertz, 13. Ehlers, Barlow, Yeager, and a first for Rantanen. I don't think that we have to throw all that. I think Ehlers in a first, Ehlers and Barlow, Ehlers and Yeager. Maybe Ehlers, Barlow in a second. I'm not that high on Colby Barlow. But yeah, basic, simple explanation here. Ehlers is not as good as Mikko Rantanen. You attach a first, you attach a good prospect. Would I do this if I was Winnipeg? I don't know, man, because I feel like you definitely have a better chance at re-signing Ehlers, even though that chance might not be that high, than Mikko Rantanen. I think Mikko Rantanen would be a sole rental in Winnipeg. I don't think that he'd be too keen to sign a 7-8 year deal in Winnipeg. That's just what they have to deal with in that market. But yeah, I would respect Kevin Cheveldayoff if he says, screw it, I'm fully going for this. Our top six is going to be disgusting if we get Mikko Rantanen on the line with Perfetti and actually their second line center. Maybe they also get Brock Nelson at some point. Brock Nelson, Perfetti, and Rantanen as their second line. Go for it, sure. Definitely don't give up like that much, like 3 first-round picks value-wise in terms of the young guys that they're giving up. But yeah, I think it could make some sense. Let's move it on. And next up, from Julian to the Capitals for Ryan Leonard and a prospect in 3 picks. I'm going to tweak this a little bit. I'm going to say Ryan Leonard and Mangiapane. Ryan Leonard, a second round pick in Mangiapane because you need to make the salaries work with Mangiapane. If I'm Carolina, I might be willing to do that just because I think Ryan Leonard is going to be such a highly coveted prospect. If I'm Washington, I would really be committing to more so of the Chikrin, Strome, PLD kind of core than that young core of Hudson, Protas, Leonard, and Parasak and Crystal that they have right now. This would be a full all-in, not fully all in, because again, they would still have a lot of good young players, but this would really be them saying, we believe in this core, we believe that we can win a Stanley Cup in the next 2 to 3 years while Ovechkin is still going. I definitely would not give up Leonard, like Crystal in a first-round pick. I think that's just too much sacrificing the future, especially when looking at Washington. Their PDO, their underlying numbers aren't fantastic. I still think that they can make some noise in the playoffs and can go on a deep run. But yeah, I'm not sure Washington's in the spot to be, even though they are first in the Eastern Conference. I'm not sure. I would just see how it goes. And if next season they're also a wagon, then you kind of go aggressive. I wouldn't quite do it this season. Next up, I'm going to botch your name, Lauchlin Hawkins, Elias Pettersson, Lekkerimaki, a 2025 first, a 2026 first. I don't think the Canucks should be buying this aggressively. If they could move off, at this point, Pettersson is a negative contract, so I wouldn't hate this deal for the Vancouver Canucks perspective. For Carolina, maybe you would take a swing on Elias Pettersson. They were very interested last year at the deadline, I believe, in Elias Pettersson. But yeah, Pettersson, he's kind of just untradeable right now until he bounces back. It's really, really concerning that he has 7 more years at $11.6 million, and he's been so bad the last 2 months. So yeah, this time last year, that deal could make some sense. I don't know about right now. Brody says, Rantanen for Lawton in 2 first-round picks. When looking at this for Philadelphia, I can see some logic. Obviously not going to make the playoffs this year. You would want to do this in the offseason, but I understand being aggressive packaging. Those first would obviously have to be Edmonton and Colorado's first this year, not their own first. That could potentially be top 6 or should be if they continue to tank it up, top 6. But yeah, I don't know if Carolina would need another solid roster player in terms of trying to go on a run this year. A good young guy, let's say you throw Cam York in there or something, then it could maybe make some sense. Just the value isn't quite matching up, and I don't love the team fits. Brock Nelson, Danny Nelson in a first from AG Rawal. I proposed this as a joke. I think value-wise, this actually is pretty fair when looking at it. Brock Nelson would be that elite second line center for the Carolina Hurricanes to still contend at a high level this season. Danny Nelson had an amazing World Juniors, has been highly productive at Notre Dame the last couple years. On top of a first round pick, it would have to be our 2026 first round pick because we might just straight up miss the playoffs even if we get Mikko Rantanen. But yeah, if Lou's intent on not selling, fuck it. I mean, go. I'm not supporting that, but like I said before, like I'd rather them buy than not do anything. But I want them to sell. They should sell Brock Nelson. But I think value-wise, that's actually a pretty solid deal. Maybe the Islanders can go on some kind of miracle run. Evan says Leafs 1 first in Midden or Cowan. I think it might be both of them. But yeah, when looking at this, there's obviously Marner for Rantanen got submitted a lot. I'm not sure that that would go down at this point. I think the Leafs would be a lot more confident in re-signing Marner, keeping Marner than Mikko Rantanen. I'd rather have Mikko Rantanen. But yeah, something around prospects. What would that look like? It might have to be Matthew Nyes in a second-round pick. I wonder if Carolina would do something like that. If I'm Toronto, I think I would just keep Matthew Nyes kind of cost-controlled. Toronto should not be doing something insane at this deadline. See the first year with Craig Berube. Try to get a third-line center. Go after Scott Laughton. Go after Brock Nelson. Don't go after Mikko Rantanen or something like that. Next up, the LA Kings have been suggested a lot, and I think this one makes a lot of sense. Philip Deneau, Alex Lafreniere, not Alexi Lafreniere, and a 2025 first-round pick. And I think that this might be the best deal like possible. When looking at it, Carolina gets that solid second-line center. Not an amazing second-line center, but Philip Deneau is so good both ways of the ice. Lafreniere broke out this season and can potentially turn into a 60 to 70 point guy in Carolina, as well as that first round pick. At this point, LA's a safe playoff team. Yeah, I like that a lot. LA needs a legit star. They need a legit star, a legit superstar like Mikko Rantanen to get them over the hump in the Western Conference. So I think both teams would be pretty happy with that. And I said it during my trade prediction videos. If Rantanen gets traded, LA would be my pick. That makes all the sense in the world. Rob Blake has to do something. Justin says William Karlsson, a 2025 second, a 2025 sixth, and Brendan Brisson. If we changed Brisson, let's change Brisson for Conley and then take out a second round pick. So Karlsson a second and Conley for Mikko Rantanen. I think that also makes a lot of sense for both parties. Vegas, just because like they always find a way to trade for star talent. It's kind of inevitable at this point. And I think William Karlsson's a very underrated player. Amazing defensively. Last year had 30 goals, 30 assists in 70 games. Yeah, and it is Selke level. He still has another 2 years at like only $5.9 million or something like that. So that's your second line center. Bingo bango. Trevor Conley or even Brendan Brisson, a good young player. Pick up a pick. I like that deal as well for both parties. And then lastly, from Trent, Nick Schmaltz, Michelli, and a 2026 first-round pick, him going to Utah. This would have to be an offseason move. This would have to be an extension guaranteed for the Utah Hockey Club because they are out of a playoff spot. If they got Rantanen, I picked them to make the playoffs this year. But yeah, if they could get this deal done, then give Rantanen an 8x13, I think that this would be awesome. Nick Schmaltz been required to play first line on Utah, more of a second liner, and can play second line center for the Carolina Hurricanes. Obviously better than Kotkaniemi. Michelli has kind of fallen out of favor with the coach. I believe he has not been playing as much. The production has not been there this season, but in Carolina, maybe they have so many Finns that maybe he can rebound with some of his fellow countrymen. And yeah, first round pick in 2026. I expect Utah to be a playoff team next year, especially if they got Mikko Rantanen in some kind of trade. When looking at their owner, Ryan Smith, taking a big shot on a guy like Mikko Rantanen, I would be all for. But yeah, can't be a rental. If you gave up all this and then he just walked in the offseason, that would kind of be embarrassing. They have more than enough salary cap space to make it work in terms of re-signing Mikko Rantanen. So yeah, go for it, Utah. But let me know in the comments, what do you think about these trades? First off, do you think he gets traded? That's like the number one question right now. I still think it's like 50-50. I think the media is pumping it up a little bit just because tomorrow we have something more to talk about because like right now the top guy's Brock Nelson. But yeah, let me know if if you think he gets traded, and if so, where, and send your hypotheticals. If you weren't featured in this video, follow the Instagram so you could potentially be featured in the video, and I'll let you know what I think, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Maybe in 2 hours it'll be a Mikko Rantanen trade. Peace.